Hello everybody. So in part 1 of Plato, we were talking about how Socrates, as a person who was teacher of Plato, but he was always engaged in conversation, or what we call dialogues, with intellectuals, and because of that he earned the wrath, or he everyone did not really like him because he used to question men so as to find an answer. It was basically not to criticize them, but it was basically to find out more about those things, and just to imply that that information is not enough and that more is needed. Just like a teacher in the class, the previous notions were that the teacher was an all encompassing, he knew everything, but now that is changing in the sense that the teacher poses a question, and this question is supposed to be answered by the students in a sort of dialogue and referencing and searching and indexing and all those things. So that sort of inquiry based learning would provide the child with more information, and thereby the child would be able to stand up on his own her own legs. This is the concept. So that was actually pioneered by in a way by Socrates and called the Socratic method. So Plato's Ion, this here also you find this sort of a dialogue, wherein I had read that in the previous part 1. Please have a look at it, and I will just read one section of it. Ion says in the center, "I obtained the first prize of all, Socrates. Well done, and I hope you will do the same for us at Panathenia. And I will, please heaven." So then again Socrates questions this. So basically what is happening is that page 12 we find that Socrates begins a stage by stage probe to try to elicit from Ion what the character is of this special skill he has, and the range of the special knowledge he claims to as an Homeric recitalist. So Socrates is trying to see whether these things that he claims to be, are they from heaven straight away to him, or has he learned it by himself? One by one, Ion's pretensions are punctured. This anecdote, with which Plato's Critic of Art is initiated, is filled with Socratic irony, and as David Deutsch observes, poetry presents the fundamental question regarding the nature of difference between poetry, which is imaginative literature, and science, or what is considered as the rationale of truth. So Socrates asks him a lot of questions, and through questioning Ion's pretensions are punctured. Ion thinks that he is the best, and that he is basically, this sort of inspiration is God given, but then finally he and Ion himself understands that it is not like that, and this is what Socrates is trying to do, trying to make him understand that he needs to, that all that he has done is he has learned by himself, and that he has practiced and done all these things so as to get a good standing in life. So Plato's presentation of the dialogue also gives us a cue to dismantle any aura that can be around literature and art as divine. So literature and art is divine, that sort of thing should be erased. And Plato was essentially differentiating between the poet and the philosopher, wholly to the advantage to the latter. For Plato, all art is one or other kind of representation or imitation of the real thing. So I showed you the example of a chair. So according to Plato, all art is one or other kind of representation or imitation of the real thing. So you can see that the chair is an imitation of the real thing. This is the real thing, imitation, and it may be as perfect as that, but still it is an imitation. So this is what Plato is trying to tell us here, that Plato was essentially differentiating between the poet and the philosopher, wholly to the advantage of the philosopher. And he was saying that art is one or other kind of representation, or your art is just a representation or imitation of any explanations that you need further, please do in the chat box, and I'll give you certain links which you could look into. And so thank you. Please do subscribe, comment, and also like. Bye.